Okay, so fresh back from Vape Expo with my UL Crank 2. Nice new purchase. Let's take a look. Okay, so in the nice shiny tube, we've got our mod. Shiny mod. A little bag of extras. O-rings, some coils, Allen key. Little pack of cotton. And some spare tanks. Now, there's two tanks there because when we look at the mod, you'll see it's got an inner tank and an outer tank. Right, let's strip down the mod. Okay, so here she is. 510 tip. And let's screw off the bottom here. And oh look, can't really see it there, but there's our build deck. Now, when we're building this, that build deck will sit straight in. And there's a couple of clips you've got to line up, and then we can put our base back on. Top cap unscrews, and that gives us our fill holes. And you can't really see it, but if you can see, there's two tanks there, one inside the other. So if we unscrew the top, you can really see that there. You've got the two tanks. Now this outer tank appears to be there purely to prevent leakage, etc. And it seems to circulate the airflow. And so we only have juice in this smaller inner tank. So it's not as big a tank as it first appears. But let's look at that build deck. Sort of average size velocity style build deck. Couple of big air holes. Those 4 juice holes running down through. Now looking at this, first look is, I'm guessing I just want to get the wick just into those holes and not get them too far into this section, because I'm presuming that, you know, I'm going to need to get the juice to flow through that section. So let's build some coils, put it back together, and have a look at how she vapes. Okay, so not the tidiest build in the world. I don't be a builder really, but 8 wraps of 26 gauge stainless steel in there. Let's pulse that up and see if we're getting a nice... Oh, look at that, nice. Yeah, happy with that. Spaced a bit so I can use them in TC mode without too much trouble. Coming in at about 0.3 ohm. Let's wick that up and see how we get on from there. Okay, so all wicked up. I'm going to tidy that a bit when we put some juice on, just ease it out a bit. I can't lie, it wasn't easy getting the juice, you know, in here into this juice channel. You can see I've got a tiny bit that sticks out at the bottom. It's really quite hard to get it into that channel. But let's just drip some juice on that coil, and I'm just going to pulse that a little just to draw it in. A bit more juice. That's it, that's just sort of drawing it nicely into the cotton there. It's heading down those legs. Oh, a bit coming out the bottom there. It's the only thing, because you're having to work on this coil without the catch cup, you know, I'm going to end up with juice over my mod. Not too happy with that, UL, but, you know, I'm sure someone will tell me there's a way of keeping the catch cup on there as well. Right, so that's nice and wet in there now. I'm just going to try and sort of raise these wicks just a bit, just to give myself some nice juice flow in there. Excellent. Yeah, that's good and wet on there. So, let's start putting bits back together. Let's put the top on for now. And then I'm just going to use a cloth on this so I can get that coil off there. Yeah, sat in nicely. Screw the bottom on. Oops, sorry, you can't see that. Sat in there. Just sat in. Sits in on a couple of clips. Screw that back on. Okay, it's nice and tight, not overly tight. Undo this fill cap. And then we'll juice her up. And as you can see, holds deceptively little juice because it just sits in that middle section. A couple of bubbles there, which means we are getting some flow off it. Okay. That just doesn't seem to quite sit flush on there. I don't know if you can really see that. There's just a gap. You know, the threads just don't feel positive enough. But all screwed on. Right. It's got this hidden airflow at the top. So it's really hard to see on camera, but you see that top ring just turns, but you can't actually tell from looking at it how far open that's closed. And I just can't tell. That's it, we're getting some flow through there now. So let's just, what are we on? Let's bring that up to, say, 40 watts, just get some the airflow's a little restrictive, doesn't feel as loose as it could. Let's just make sure it's open right up. But it's nice and tidy down the bottom because we've not got any air holes down the top, because we're getting the air in through the top there, down this glass tank here and up through. We seem to be getting a good airflow out of it. Vapour production's good. Flavours do seem a bit muted, but it's fresh cotton. I'm going to run a tank through that, come back to it, let you know what I think. Okay, so we've run some juice through it now. No problems, it's flowing nicely. I do think that perhaps this outer tank is actually making the airflow restrictive because it's coming in through the top and then having to go down through this outer tank. I might give it a go later with this outer tank removed, just with the inner tank, so the air's going straight down into the coil there, rather than coming in through the top and down through there. But it's vaping well. Good vapour production, good flavour. For the £25 I paid for it, all in all a good tank. I'm happy with that. Value for money is very good. The machining could be a little bit better in places. The drip tip just doesn't seem to quite sit flush. I've checked the O-rings, etc. As I said here, this top cap just doesn't look quite right. Just has a little gap in the top cap that I'm not really happy with. I quite like the knurling on the tank. Makes it nice and easy to deal with. This hidden airflow, I quite like that now I've got used to it. But again, you know, that's going to become redundant once I've taken this tank out and tried it without that. But all in all, for the money, very, very good tank.